أهلا بكم طالبات وطلاب جريد 1 بريب. برحب بكم في حلقة ماث جديدة تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to revise the repeated multiplication, the non-negative and negative integer powers. So let's get started. So let's start the first question here. Choose the correct answer from those given. Number 1. The additive inverse of this number, negative 3 over 4 all to the power of 0. As we know, any number to the power of 0 equals 1. So the additive inverse, we have to change the sign. So it is 1, so the correct answer is negative 1. Number 2, the multiplicative inverse of this number, which is negative 1 over 5. Here we have negative sign, and the power or the exponent is odd number. So the negative 1 to the power of 5 is negative 1. And the multiplicative inverse, we have to flip the fraction. This negative 1 is over 1. When I flip it, it will be the same. It will be negative 1. So the answer will be negative 1 to the power of 5, because negative 1 to the power of 5 is negative 1. 3. 64% equals 4 over 5 to the power of what? As we know, 64% means 64 over 100. Instead of the percentage sign, we have to put over 100. Then, if I divide this number, let me divide it by 4, up and down. Here, we will get 18, and here 25. So 64 divided by 4 is 1, and remainder 2. 24 divided by 4 is 16. So the answer is 16 over 25. How can I rewrite this 16 over 25 to be 4 over 5 to the power of a number? 16, as we know, it is 4 to the power of 2, and 25 is 5 to the power of 2. So the correct answer is 2. The fourth one, 0.25 equals half to the power of what? Let's do it. How many decimal places are there? Here we have 2 decimal places, so it is 25 over 100. And we can simplify this fraction to be, let's divide by 25 up and down. So the answer is 1 over 4. 1 over 4, it is half to the power of 2. Why 2? Because I'm going to distribute this 2 for 1 and distribute 2 for 2. So 1 to the power of 2 is 2, and 2 to the power of 2 is 1, or is 4. So the correct answer is 2. The fifth one, 2n all to the power of 3. Also distribute this 3 for 2 and 4n. Why? Because there is no sign here between the 2 and the n, and that means multiplication. 2 to the power of 3 and the n to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, and the n to the power of 3 as it is. So the correct answer is letter B. The sixth one, if A equals B, then negative 7 over 9 all to the power of A minus B. Let me focus here. If A equals B, the value of A minus B equals what? They are equal. For example, 3 equals 3. So 3 minus 3 equals 0. So here A minus B is 0. And as we know, any number to the power of 0 is 1. So the correct answer is 1. Negative 1 to the power of 14 and negative 1 to the power of 17. I need to put a correct sign here. Less, equal, greater than, or less or equal, or greater or equal. So here we have. Let's have a look at the exponent. It is even number here. And here the exponent is odd. And as we know, for any even number, if we have a negative number, the value will be positive. For any negative number and the power is odd, the value will be negative. And as we know here, 1 to any power is 1, and negative 1 to any power here, it is negative 1. So the positive, of course, is greater than the negative. So positive 1 is greater than negative 1. Number 8, also I need to compare to put correct sign. Okay, here negative 1 to the power of 2, which is 1. And why? Because 2 is even number. And negative 1 to the power of 100. 100 is also even. So it is 1. So the correct sign is equal. Both of them are equal. Number 9. Negative half to the power of 2 minus negative half to the power of 3. We have to write this one. Here, negative 1 to the power of 2 is 1. And 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So the first rational number is 1 over 4. The second one, negative 1 to the power of 3, the power here is odd. So it is negative as it is, 1. And 2 to the power of 3, not 6, it is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So the correct answer here is negative 1 over 8. Now, I have fractions and I need to subtract the two rational numbers. How can we write it again? 1 over 4 as it is. What about here? We have minus and negative. If I have two negative signs beside each other, that means positive sign. 1 over 8. Now let's have a look at the denominators. Same, we have three cases. Do you remember that? In the first term, same, or convert one to the other by multiplying, or cross multiplication. Okay. 4, I can convert it to be 8 times 2 up and down. So the first rational number will be 2 over 4. And the second one still as it is. 2 over 8. And the second one as it is, 1 over 8. Now we have the same denominator, so put it, and 2 plus 1 equals 3. So I used what here? I used the odd and the even for the sign, the odd and the even power. Then I used the two negative sign. Then I used adding rational numbers to convert one to the other. Then I added both of them. So the correct answer is 3 over 8. Now, if b to the power of 6 plus b to the power of 7 equals 0, then b equals what? I'm going to take a common factor from both of them. And as we know, for the common factor, we have to take out the small power. So b to the power of 6 and b to the power of 7, we are going to take b to the power of 6. Here, the remainder is only 1, because this b to the power of 6, it means b to the power of 6 times 1. And this b to the power of 7, it means b to the power of 6 times b to the power of 1. Why b to the power of 1? Because when we multiply, we will add the exponents. So, let me circle b to the power of 6 to take it out. Here, the other number is only 1. I'm going to write it. Then write plus as it is. And the other number here, it is b to the power of 1. No need to write power of 1. Okay, how can I write it, or how can I solve this one? Because it is equal to the 0. That means b to the power of 6 equals 0. And that means b is 0, or 1 plus b equals 0. And that means I need to subtract this one to cancel it from both, or move it from side to the other side. So b equals negative 1. Let's have a look at the choices. Is 0 written? No, it's not. Is negative 1 is written? Yes. Here, b equals negative 1. So the correct answer is negative 1. Number 11, 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 3. I have two ways to solve it. The first one, here take care, here we have addition, not allowed to add the exponent. I can evaluate each one. 2 to the power of 3 means 8, and 2 to the power of 3 means 8, and 8 plus 8 equals 16. 16 is not written in the choices. We have to rewrite this 16 as a power. So 16 is 2 to the power of 4, because 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times equals 4 times 4 equals 16. This is the first way, so the correct answer is 2 to the power of 4. The second way, 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 3. We can write 2 to the power of 3, or we can take it as a common factor. Here the remainder is 1 plus as it is, and here also 1. 2 to the power of 3, then 1 plus 1 is 2. Here we have multiplication. This 2 is to the power of 1, and as we know in multiplication we have to add the exponent, so it is 2 to the power of 4. So the correct answer is 2 to the power of 4. Number 12, also I have the two ways. What do you prefer to do it with? Okay, 2 to the power of n plus, 3 to the power of n plus 3 to the power of n plus 3 to the power of n. We don't know this n to evaluate it, so I have to factor. We are going to take 3 to the power of n as a common factor. Here the first number we have only 1 as a factor, then plus as it is. Also we have 1, and here we have 1. 3 to the power of n as it is. Inside the brackets we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. And what is the relationship between this 3 to the power of n and 3? Here we have multiplication. By the way, the multiplication we can write it as the multiplication sign or dot or without any sign. For example, if we have 5n, that means 5 times n. Let me erase it. So 3 to the power of, in multiplication, I need to add the exponent, so it becomes n plus 1. So the correct answer is letter A. Number 13, 0.027 is equal to 3 over 10 to the power of what? Who can write it as a fraction? How many decimal places are there? There are 3 decimal places. So we have to rewrite this 0.27 as 27 over 1,000. Why? Because there are 3 decimal places, so we have to put 3 zeros. Okay. And it is equal to 3 over 10 to the power of what? Let me ask you now. 3, how can I convert it to be 27? 3 to the power of what equals 27? 3 to the power of 2, it means 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 to the power of 3, it means 3 times 3 times 3. The first 3 and 3 will give us 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so the correct answer to the power of 3. What about 10 to be sure? 10 to the power of 3, it means 10 times 10 times 10, or immediately we have 3 as exponent, so we have to put 3 zeros. The number of zeros is equal to the number of the exponent. Okay, so the correct answer is to the power of 3. Number 14, the additive inverse of this number, which is negative 1 power 4, is what? Here. I have a negative number, which is negative 1, and I have even exponent. As we know, if the exponent is even, we will cancel the negative sign. So the answer is equal to 1 to the power of 4. And as we know, 1 to the power of 4 or 1 to any power equals 1, because we will multiply 1 times itself. Even if we have 1 to the power of 100, we will get 1. That is the value of it. I didn't complete this question. The question asked me about the additive inverse. So the additive inverse, we have to change the sign. We have to change the sign. It's 1, and this one is positive. To change its sign, it will be negative 1. In question 15, 2 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 4. Here, can I add the exponents? Of course, no, because we don't have the same base. For example, if I have A times B to the power of n, as we studied before, I can distribute this n for each factor of them. So I can write it A to the power of n times B to the power of n. And that is what we have here. I give you the second side. Now I'm rewriting as the first side. So we are going to write 4 at the top. And inside this brackets, we have to write 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 equals 6. So the value is 6 to the power of 4. Number 16. If a to the power of x equals 2 and a to the power of y equals 3, then a to the power of x plus y. X plus y. When we need to add the exponent, if we have multiplication for the same base, so we can write it as a to the power of x times, I'm going to write it as a dot, a to the power of y. Why? Because in multiplication we will add the exponent. Okay, I started with the addition of the exponent, so that means I have to multiply a to the power of x and a to the power of y. The value is given in the question here. A to the power of x equals 2 times a to the power of y equals 3, and the multiplication is, or the product of 2 and 3 equals 6. So the correct answer is 6.
Previously, we have recognized the meaning of negative integer powers. Then we have learned the negative power laws. Now we will solve more exercises using the negative powers laws. Let's start. First example is, find the value of the following in the simplest form. 5 to the power 4 multiplied by 5 to the power negative 1 divided by 5 to the power negative 2 multiplied by 5 to the power 4 all to the power negative 2. We can solve this example by 2 methods, so click on each method to identify it. The first method is, in the case of multiplication, we will get the value of each of the numerator and the denominator by adding or subtracting their powers. So the value of numerator is 5 to the power of 4 plus negative 1, and the value of denominator is 5 to the power of negative 2 plus 4. And the two terms are all to the power of negative 2. We get 5 to the power 3 over 5 to the power of 2 all to the power of negative 2. By using the power rule in division, which is subtracting the power of the numerator and denominator, we get 5 to the power of 3 minus 2 all to the power negative 2. Then use the multiplicative inverse rule for the negative integer power. So we get 1 over 5 all squared, which equals 1 over 25. As for the second method, please press on the second tab. The second method is, we can use simplification between numerator and denominator. By simplifying the fraction, we will get 5 to the power negative 1 over 5 to the power negative 2 all to the power negative 2. By using the multiplicative inverse, we get 5 to the power 2 over 5 all to the power negative 2. Then, by using the division power rule, we get 5 to the power 2 negative 1 all to the power negative 2, which equals 5 to the power negative 2. And also, we can use the multiplicative inverse in this exercise to be 1 over 5 all to the power 2, which equals 1 over 5 all squared, and that is equal to 1 over 25, which is the result we want to get.
Now let's complete our questions. Number 17. The quarter of the number 2 to the power of 16 equals what? Quarter means 1 over 4. And of means multiply. 2 to the power of 16, I'm going to write it. What do we have to do here? I have to rewrite this 4 as 2 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of 16. To help us to evaluate them, 2 times, or 2 to the power of 16 times 1 is 2 to the power of 16 over 2 to the power of 2. And as we know, now we have the same base. So I did this step to have the same base. So 2 to the power of 16 minus 2, which is 14. So the correct answer is letter D. Then 18. Negative 3 over 4 to the power of negative 2. As we know, negative 2 is an is a negative power, so we have to flip the rational number. It is negative 3 over 4, so it becomes 4 over negative 3 all to the power of 2. So when you flip the fraction or flip the rational number, we have to change the sign of the exponents. Now, 2 is an even number, so I'm gonna cancel the negative sign, so it becomes 4 over 3 to the power of 2. Then distribute this to 4 to the power of 2 equals 16, and 3 to the power of 2 is 9. So the correct answer is 16 over 9. If x times y to the power of negative 1 equals half, find y over x. X times y to the power negative 1, it means x times 1 over y. I have to flip this y, so it becomes 1 over y, and this y to the power of 1, no need to write 1, equals half. Then x times 1 is x, and y is down. This is the value of x over y. How can we get the value of y over x? Just flip it. Here, the question asked me about the value of y over x. So y over x equals 2 over 1, which is 2. So the correct answer is 2. The multiplicative inverse of this number, which is 6 to the power of negative 2, is what? First, I have to find the value, then flip it, okay? 6 to the power of negative 2, it means 1 over 6 to the power of 2 because of the negative exponent. So it means 1 over 36. That is the value of it. How can we find the multiplicative inverse? Just flip it. So it becomes 36 over 1, which is 36. That's all about today's revision. I hope it was clear for everyone. Thank you. Take care. Bye.